Hey guys, it's Chris. Thanks for tuning in for another Money for Motorcycle flip. Now this was a good story, but it's also a good learning lesson as well. I contacted someone through online Facebook marketplace, and immediately they told me to call this other number because they were selling it for a friend. She was actually saying she was selling it for her uncle. So normally this type of thing you want to be very cautious about, because all they're trying to do is lure you to call someone that you don't know or have any credentials or background on, and then you go meet up with them with cash, and then they jack you. So be cautious about this. But this one I felt out a little bit. I actually had some correspondence with the girl online. She seemed to be legit. She said she was selling it for her uncle. I then in turn got the number to the uncle, was able to call the uncle directly, and like I said, talk to him. He basically had the same story that she did, so I kind of felt more confident about the situation. And then of course wanted to make sure we made contact at a good time and place. Now a good time and place is always during the day if at all possible, and at their residence if possible. Most people are not going to invite you to their house if they're going to then in turn jack you or steal you for your money. So it was a good situation. I was able to meet up with them very shortly after that. Looked at the bike. The bike had been in good shape. Now whenever you go look at a bike that it may look like it's been sitting for a little while, you always want to check out the tires and oil and things like that to make sure it's been maintained throughout the process when it's not being used regularly. Now this guy, he had bought this bike about a year and a half prior to this, and then after that bought a Sportster, been riding the Sportster because he loves it, and the VT's been kind of sitting on the backside. So we checked everything out. It looked pretty good. It was going to definitely need a tune-up, but other than that, everything as far as the tires and hoses and everything like that, everything looked like it was in good shape. He was taking care of it, and he was keeping it out of the weather. So only thing I saw that was really negative on it was the windshield. It looked like the windshield itself had deteriorated quite a bit. It kind of yellowed and things of that nature. So that'd be the first thing we're going to strip off to give this thing definitely a better look and better marketing. So then I in turn put it out on the internet. I think it was about a week, maybe even 4 days after that, we get a gentleman that contacts us. He comes out, he looks at the bike. He's like, man, I'm really liking this bike. Now this is another learning lesson. He came out and wanted to test drive the bike. Well, right? You're about to spend some money on a bike. You want to test drive it. So before I let this guy test drive it, I was like, hey, well, let me make sure you got the money. So that way I can hold the money. You can do the test drive, or give me your license and you can do the test drive. But I want to make sure you got the money so that way we're not just test driving and joyriding, right? This guy could potentially ride off on your motorcycle. He could ride off and wreck it and then try to give it back to you. So he didn't have the money. So I was like, okay, well, if you don't have the money, then you can't test drive it. But I was like, but you can start it up, you can listen to it, I'll ride it for you and show you that it works and everything, and then you can come back with the money and you can test drive it. So don't ever let anyone just take off on a test drive. Make sure you got some collateral going on there. So he came back the next day, though. He turned out to be a totally legit guy. He had the cash in hand. He actually gave me the cash and the ID so he could take it for a test drive. Brought his friend to come take it for a test drive. His friend loved it so much that when after they decided to buy it, his friend was actually trying to drive it home for him. It was like, no, man, I don't think you should drive it home. You're new to this bike thing. Let me drive it home for you. So it was a great deal to be able to take something that someone was really not using anymore and get it to someone that really wanted it. So it was a great story. I was able to make some money along the way. I paid $1,200 for the bike. I had a little bit less than $100 in the detail and the tune-up, and then turned around and sold to this gentleman for $2,300. So $1,100 in my profit, and my profit, as well as getting one person's nuisance out of their garage and another person's new baby in theirs. So great story. Check out the bike.
2003 Vt750 Honda. Johnson Holmes pipes, custom Mustang seat, backrest, pre-owned grips, nice factory frame job, good tires, nice spec rims.
Hey guys, it's Chris. I hope you enjoyed watching my video and seeing more money for motorcycles. Be sure to subscribe below and see more videos like this.